Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's reveal has been a thing for nearly 2 weeks now, and I've been thinking about some things relating to when these games actually take place. There are a couple theories to where Pokemon Scarlet and Violet fit in the Pokemon timeline, and one of them actually includes the return of Mega Evolution, so let's jump right in. Okay, so first things first, in the trailer, we actually got a look at a Hisuian Zoroark. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, this Pokemon is from Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus obviously taking place way before the main Pokemon timeline, but I think it's pretty safe to say that this isn't a hint to where Scarlet and Violet take place, but rather a nod to these games having Pokemon Home support, which for a core series game is pretty obvious. So there's nothing too spicy there in that regard. Now, the region that Scarlet and Violet is going to take place in is heavily seeming to be based on Spain/Portugal. And we can see from a few shots here in the trailer that there are a lot of castle type structures and spires and stuff like that. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that this game is going to take place in the past, as it's a pretty common thing around the world in like cities and stuff, that all this old type architecture is still used as like tourist attractions, so that doesn't really give us a time period or anything like that. So that doesn't really give much away either. Now, these next two shots from the trailer actually imply that these games are taking place nearer to the present day. We can clearly see in this shot here that there are wind turbines in this region somewhere. Wind turbines themselves have been around since the early 1900s in the real world, but seeing as these are looking to be quite modern, I think that's a little nudge in itself that tells us that this is like a more modern era game. And in this shot, we can see in the sort of town square area, there's a staircase that looks to be leading up to a big TV screen or some sort of monitor. And if we take this shot and the shot of the big castle Pokeball close-up that we got from the trailer as well, they look to me like they're the same building. And this big Pokeball castle building, I've speculated to be one of the new gyms, or either the Pokemon League where you would fight the Elite Four typically. So whether this big TV screen is like an announcement screen or something of that nature. Either way, I think this gives off pretty modern vibes to me. Now, the biggest and most obvious thing in the trailer that shouts to me that this is going to be a present day game is the fact that in the player's house, there is a Switch OLED which has just been released to us. So going off this alone heavily implies that this is going to be a present day game. And this leads me on to my next point and a little bit of theory crafting. So like I said before, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's region seems to be heavily based on Spain and Portugal. And if your geography is any good, you'll know that there is a little country above Spain called France, which is a country that the Kalos region is based off. And unless Pokemon have their own idea of what the Pokemon planet looks like, then we can assume that the region that Scarlet and Violet takes place in is going to be right underneath Kalos. Now, how does this relate to when Scarlet and Violet are actually going to be set? Here's my theory, and there's actually two different versions of this theory. The Pokemon timeline is pretty messy, and there's not really one concrete timeline throughout all of the games, but that's not what I'm here to explain. If you want to check out the complete Pokemon timeline, or timelines in summary, then check out this video by Chase Kip, who explains it pretty well in my opinion. So in short, Pokemon X and Y, which is in Kalos, should be right above the region where Scarlet and Violet take place, are set roughly at the same time as Pokemon Black and White 2. But as we can see in the Scarlet and Violet reveal trailer, the player has a Switch OLED in their room, so this game's got to be present day, right? But which present day? If Scarlet and Violet's region is directly south of Kalos, which is where we first saw Mega Evolutions in the games, does that mean we could see Megas return in these games? Personally, I don't think so. Seeing as the Japanese logos for Scarlet and Violet heavily imply a new battle mechanic in these games, and I can't really see them implementing both of them in the same game. I feel like that'd be too much. So the conclusion of my theory is that Scarlet and Violet will take place in the present day on the timeline where Mega Evolution doesn't exist. So the events of all the games that have Mega Evolutions in them do not apply to these games. So that means no X and Y, no Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and no Sun and Moon. But if there's no Mega Evolution, what does that mean for Kalos that's directly north of Scarlet and Violet's region. Seeing as Mega Evolution was like the main thing in Gen 6 when X and Y came out, and the professor of X and Y, Professor Sycamore, basically dedicated his entire research to Mega Evolution, what could he do in this version of Kalos? Maybe just researching regular evolution, or maybe the new mechanic can be tied into this somehow. Or we could just not visit Kalos at all, which I think would be a massive shame. I think there's massive potential for that in these games. Could Mega Evolution actually return in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? It's all up for debate. I'd love to hear some down in the comments. So if you've got any theories of your own, I'd love to hear them. And as always, if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like. And if you are new, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, I've been Oliver, that is OLVR, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.